He is coming. Cover your butt.
Cover the what?
With all the opening logos these days, it's a rarity to have a funny moment within a minute. Didn't take long to establish goodwill.
Why, I see everything.
Didn't really amount to much, did you, Vitruvius? I know someone will call me out, so, after this, Vitruvius often looks directly at people and things as sighted people would, despite being blind.
All this is true, because it rhymes.
He's right. How many prophecies, in both film and fiction, are told in rhyme to make them more convincing? The various scruffs and such are great not for the detail, but for being an attempt to make it feel more like film stop motion and less like CG. Different clothes for Lego figures are different pieces entirely. To show Emma putting on some here, I see what the filmmakers were trying to do, but it didn't quite work.
Or you'll be put to sleep.
Wait, did he say put to sleep?
Most of the third act's twist foreshadowing is done so well. This would have been too, had they not bothered with the second part.
Oh, hey, Jasmine, Dexter, Angie, Loki, Bad Leroy, Fluffy, Fluffy Jr., Fluffy Sr., Jeff.
Meow.
Emma kept up the name listing otherwise, have to wonder why he left out the last one.
Everything is awesome.
The internet dissected it to death, so you hardly need me to point out that Everything is Awesome works because the film acknowledges that songs like this become hits because of being catchy and fun to listen to, even if they're kind of bland. There's plenty, and I mean plenty, of side joke baskets that hint at the twist. If I don't find all this foreshadowing on the level of, say, Wreck-It Ralph's late game twist, well, little compares to that. Point being, they're still great. That Lego woman in her seat shift between shots. I don't think she moved herself, folks.
I could sing this song for hours!
Well, that was a short time between dawn and dusk. Also, business has construction taking place almost into the night.
If you see anything weird, report it immediately.
Don't know where he's getting that from. This is like 4Kids text removal levels of confusion.
What do? I don't have my instructions.
Your instructions are right there, buddy. The whole cast is excellent, but Liam Neeson's take on good cop, bad cop is a highlight. He's playing with and against his expected type, and having a blast. Emmett was captured at sunset, yet these interviews are in the daytime, when Emmett wouldn't have been a target, and it's night when Wildstar breaks him out. I'd say bad cops did artificial lighting on sound stages to screw with Emmett's mind. It did for me.
Ow, ow, ow! That is gonna start hurting pretty soon!
There are few properties more suited to this tongue-in-cheek attitude than Lego.
Whoa, who are you?
So, what about that handcuff? The best in-jokes are those where anyone can get it. All the code numbers for the Lego pieces are that. How many of us actually paid attention to them, after all?
Cut him off on Elm, now! Or whenever you can.
Methinks bad cop needs to know when to shelve his good cop personality, surplus to requirements 80% of the time, including highway chases. What was the point of shooting down the enemies if Wildstar was going to dodge at the last second anyway so they crash? I don't mind that the house is much bigger on the inside, any child would imagine it so, but that doesn't excuse the house getting smaller on the outside when that size was established.
Favorite song?
Everything is awesome!
Oh no.
The film plays around with expectations here. You'd expect them to think Emmett is a master builder for a large chunk, but Wildstar's only misinformed briefly, which leaves a fresher act too. So if the ordinary soldiers went to actual Stormtrooper accuracy school, it seems Bad Cop went to Stormtrooper accuracy as described by Obi-Wan school. Gotta hand that to him. The sign saying Old West goes from up close to way in the background. Yay for perspective goose. Wildstar's horse goes from black to brown and back again. Hope that doesn't mean he's having issues.
There's also this one, Pirates Cove, Knights Club, Vikings Landing, Clown Town, a bunch of others we don't need to mention.
Hey, Bionicles were my favourite Legos growing up. Still got several complete sets in my inner sanctum. Should have mentioned it, filmmakers.
Blah blah blah, proper name, place name, backstory stuff.
I really dig how the film can be both a parody of the Chosen One narrative, but also be a good example of said narrative. The key is the right balance between sincerity and playfully skewing it.
But his face is so generic it matches every other face in our database.
It is a generic face, but every other ordinary Lego figure has some feature on their face, be it a beard or a different hair color or something. So matching every face in the database? Nope. I dig how the non-Lego items have a semi-realistic texture, given the Lego pieces feel so real. The diffused realistic look just works. For a film thriving on being wacky, this sequence is a bit too long for what it needs to do, which is just clarify his plans and wipe good cop away. Of course, I'm only complaining about extra good material, so the trade-off is, it gives us extra breathing room. Such moments are important in a film with such energy. Their faces aren't frozen. The mother's isn't anyway. Just saying.
Meet me upstairs in 10 seconds.
This film is so intent on getting big grins in our faces and keeping them there. Fair play to it.
Introducing the double-decker couch, so everyone could watch TV together and be buddies.
I kinda love the wee irony in the one thing Emmett's made being something he can't use, gives it requires friends. Not too dark because it's not highlighted.
Your mind is already so prodigiously empty that there is nothing in it to clear away in the first place.
There's so many neat sardonic layers to Morgan Freeman's performance as Vitruvius, it's hard to make the wise old sage character seem fresh again, and he's the credit for a lot of that here.
Draw a cowboy hat on him.
So this guy can match it up when Lore Business's database couldn't? Their computers must be stuck on Windows 95. Why are all the Wild West cowboys helping bad cop pursue our heroes? Colour, or build, me curious. Either Emmett predictably fails, or the two-piece break comically smacks one of the pursuers. Neither can surprise us. This film's mostly so good with defined expectations at every turn, so this sticks out. Expected plagiarism lawsuit from Wile E. Coyote? Nah, but the overdone explosion hits the mark, folks. So why didn't Bad Cop fly from the start? Yeah, I know, dramatic effect. But it's not like on television where you got a pad to fill a half hour. Why are their backsides blinking? Don't tell me. Butt turn signals? It's easy to forget how fresh and playful this Batman felt after nearly a decade of edgy Christian Bale Batman, lest we forget there are many takes on Batman.
I think we're about to crash into the sun.
Yeah, but it's gonna look really cool.
It did look really cool. Did they just do a Legoized version of a shot where water droplets are intentionally scattered onto the lens? That's as impressive as playing around with focal length for cinematic effect. Sort of. It gives me no pleasure to say a film this great is overlong, but it is. Not by much. But the middle third of the film could do with some trimming, as the manic energy gets to be a petite bit draining. Unikitty is my favourite character, and that's saying a lot here. It's a classic example of a character doing one thing so well that said character makes a bigger impression on the adults than the complex characters. Maybe her Cartoon Network series won't be another Teen Titans Go, eh?
Hey, Superman!
Oh, hey. What's that?
Lantern. Green Lantern.
Yeah.
You want to sit together at the meeting?
I have to go back to Krypton.
Didn't Krypton blow up?
This Jonah Hill Channing Tatum in-joke is brilliant. Helps that these seconds alone are better than all Green Lantern and Man of Steel. The only pre-existing characters that get anything to do are Warner-owned properties. Just a wee bit much attention is called to that fact. I know, licensing costs money, and they didn't know whether this film would succeed. Might have been better to have only original characters then. Love Batman picking his teeth with his bat boomerang in the background there. Totally something this Batman would do. This mini-magician popped up when the quartet entered. Not possible if he was captured in Mel Beard's previous attempt. Being honest, Mel Beard is the one character in the film that doesn't really work for me. Guess the pirate parody just doesn't gel. The Rainbow Pat as well as the landed extended from Up are totally gone. Kids doing a bit too much unnecessary set rearranging here. The tracking device disappears and only comes back when the plot needs it to. This is so obvious I almost didn't bother mentioning it. Almost. Seriously, it would have been better to just not bother and leave how they track them unexplained, given this film's anti-logic logic.
To the Batmobile! Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
So the invisible jet was parked on top of the Batmobile? Uh-huh.
Y'all ready for this? Oh no! They were ready for that!
This NBA gag is great, even better with that music. This part here requires a mad suspension of disbelief that our heroes are basically unnoticed by any of the bad guys for a minute. Easy to miss, but I love the part where Bad Cop kicks a chair out again in frustration. Great callback. When the filmmakers focus on Wonder Woman being handcuffed, it's a bit too much of a direct connection to that old weakness where her powers were nullified when a man bound her. Lord and Miller, you're better than that. We don't get a reason for why the sub started capsizing. I misremembered it as being because of Emmett accidentally taking pieces that kept it together for his couch. That would have been neat.
Can't get much worse than this.
Hello, neighbor.
Oh no.
Poor Superman. He just can't seem to catch a break, can he? Funny for us, though.
I watched Lord Business's forces completely overlook it.
No, you didn't. You were fleeing.
What's the last thing Lord Business expects master builders will do?
Why, this.
How you gonna keep us down?
Well, I didn't expect that. Typically, films that vilify mass culture can be one-sided. Despite using it as a scapegoat for many jokes, this film doesn't suggest that following the rules is automatically evil. Rather, that sometimes doing your own thing is right, and sometimes using a blueprint is right too. It's a conformist versus contrarian message, but one where the conclusion is to compromise.
What do you think? A spaceship is just gonna appear out of the blue? Are you kidding me? The same bit?
Now that the Lego Batman movie is out, we know the damage having large chunks taken up by a spot the reference game can do, but as a solo gag scene, this works just fine. Batman's reaction seals it.
This hyperdrive keeps malfunctioning, taking us to loser systems like this.
Han's voice is off just enough to notice. Not to slight Keith Ferguson, his hand voice works wonders on Robot Chicken, just not here.
Plus, it turns out the hairy one's a dude, and the metal one too.
Now that is a fabulous mythology gag if ever I saw one. C-3PO's early design was inspired by the classic female android from Metropolis, so for Batman to mistake 3PO for female, priceless. Now that's how to do a butt joke right, the joke being that they are Lego butts. Beats minions photocopying their butts, am I right?
First law of the sea. Never place your rear end on a pirate's face.
So the screen lid was his face? Yeah, I don't know either. Also, Emmett sent the largest member of the group on the mission's stealth segment.
That idea is just the worst.
Step 5. Vitruvius will provide lookout and make sure we're not being followed.
He's blind. I get they want Emmett's plan to be flawed, but start out so well done. Clearly the filmmakers couldn't think of a role for Vitruvius to do that would still result in the group failing.
Bruce Wayne, CEO of Wayne Enterprises.
Bruce Wayne? Who's that? Sounds like a cool guy.
In all the many years of Batman, I can honestly say I've never seen such a funny Batman denying to be Bruce Wayne gag.
Everything is awesome.
No way. This is my jam.
So robots whose sole purpose is to construct and maintain order are programmed with a favorite jam? Uh-huh.
I wanted it to be me, okay? Lucy. That was my real name.
It's a little disappointing that whilst that storyline plays out in a mostly typical fashion of modern female animated characters, it only seems that way because of how the film plays around with every other convention it uses.
Hey, what are you two losers talking about?
Swell timing, Batman. Nah, but the film does know how to balance its humour and sentiment properly. Good film, knowing how to make unavoidable getting past the minions bits that might be tedious, be comic due to their brevity.
Disable the shield! Be ye disabling of yon shield.
Disabling shield.
What?
Yeah, so the computer was being a giant jerk to Benny.
The prophecy. I made it up.
Normally, he'd be telling Emmett this because otherwise he'd go to the grave with him. But since he comes back, this just results in very bad timing. The micromanagers managed to pin him with a band through the gooey gap between him and the piece. I really don't care, but there it is.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave you here to die.
The only reason the business sentences Bad Cop to die is so he has a reason to reform and help later. It's done well, but not well enough for this film. No zoom-in shot for Unikitty? If Benny got one, she should have. Star Destroyer looming past the camera spoof shot is as good as they come, folks. Yes, him being on a strain, just yes. Noble sacrifice is noble, folks. Nothing to dissect here. They film a fictional TV series in a government tower. Uh-huh.
You don't know me, but I'm on TV, so you can trust me.
This, right after their president has proceeded to attack and freeze them. Yeah, I totally trust what the television tells me.
I used to think they were followers.
Neat touch having a squire read what she's saying, but this can't be happening at the same time as the broadcast, even though the film indicates otherwise. Where did they get this footage? I get to decide which of these things get excused under imagination, folks. There's a med to this madness.
Today will not be known as Taco Tuesday. It will be known as Freedom Friday. But still on a Tuesday.
That's a neat way of working around the week's days.
I could build a spaceship!
Perhaps the most adorably funny moment in the film here, folks. You already love it. Their escape ship goes from full size to a 3-brick cramped pod and back again. Good job, filmmakers, or Finn, whichever is to blame. Unsurprisingly, Melbio's cannonballs replenish whenever they need to. This isn't a video game, unlimited ammo ain't a thing. The filmmakers had the first shot of Emmett's model face mirror the one from before to keep the reveal of it being live action held back for a bit longer. A small group of people, but a notable group, really don't like the conceptual direction the film takes with this live action part, but this defines to such a large degree why the film is as great as it is. You want a lark of a comedy that doesn't have this and is therefore somewhat more disposable? Watch the Lego Batman movie. Point being, this part rocks. Throughout, Emmett's hairpiece switches to seamless several times as opposed to having a seam. The Millennium Falcon in Slave 1 in the background, never noticed that before, helps make the Star Wars bit feel random within its own rules. Will Ferrell's done a great job playing business thus far, but I think he tops it here. He's doing a spoof of himself while remaining grounded.
The box for this one said ages 8 to 14.
That's a suggestion. They have to put that on there.
Oh my gosh, I can't. That's just the best kind of meta humor. Sometimes the micromanagers are figures, yet other times it seems like they're whoever's controlling the figures. Make your mind up. Squirting out superglue like that, not a good idea. That stuff will harden pretty fast.
The piece of resistance! I can still save them!
Emmett got a good look at the other tubes. Emmett being able to move throws Inception level confusion straight into the heart of the film's logic. Try not to think about it too much. There's some lovely comic mileage to be got out of the man upstairs looking back every time Emmett moves. The piece of resistance goes from Emmett's right hand to his left. For some reason, Wildstyle and Unikitty, whilst being cornered, go from their space attire back to their normal clothes.
Emmett!
There's our obligatory lip sync mismatch, folks. Second best moment, Unikitty going berserk. Like Benny building a spaceship, it was comically foreshadowed and totally worth it. Though it's a little odd that this is what makes Unikitty go berserk. Does this compare to Emmett's sacrifice earlier? Business swapped his helmet and hair pieces earlier, so how is his hair piece under his helmet piece? Those are all fan-submitted LEGO short films. The love is present in them even if you don't know that. What's great about the last third is how the simple, common message, everyone is special, and everyone can have fun in their own way, has so much power. The film's so full of life and ingenuity that its points ring true rather than feeling forced, even though the film is not aiming to be psychologically deep.
Finn, did you make all of this?
He's only just now noticing all the stuff his son made? The colour of Business's hair differs between the model and animated version. Subtle, but it's there.
So, present business is the bad guy?
There's just enough dry wit there to keep the seed on the border of being too saccharine rather than stepping over it.
You don't have to be the bad guy. And you are capable of amazing things. Because you are the special.
The best thing about this film, and about LEGO, is the lack of cynicism and the generosity. The aim to celebrate, rather than to condemn, trickles down to the character's easy willingness to forgive and redeem. This teared me up just watching this short clip to script this particular karma, folks. A great subtlety of acting is Finn's brief hesitation in hugging his dad, as he doesn't understand what his dad has just realised. What child would? Hey, I can reward live action subtleties within animation. The film doesn't go overboard with a London monument. Fits, as for a peppy kid, all the characters being forgiven is all the resolution needed.
Now that I'm letting you come down here and play, guess who else gets to come down here and play?
Who?
Your sister.
What? We are from the planet Duplo, we are here to destroy you.
I think my sides, which are already on life support, just passed on, folks. Helps to end on a hilarious note after being deservedly reserved for a while. I like how the credits are all in actual stop motion to show that it could be done, financially if not in terms of time. How great is it that all 9 main cast members were excellent? You get the feeling they all found the right creative direction and ran with it as fast as they could. No weak link, even if we have our favourites. What makes the film so conceptually sound is how the theme of letting your imagination loose isn't just a plot thread, it's present everywhere. It's one thing to be about something as a story, and another for that something to inform every facet. From the rapid location changes to the effortless use of pre-existing characters, it's all there. Take the animation. Yes, it's top-notch CGI with realistic lighting and textures, but the physics deserve comparison to the most arachnidic Looney Tunes. The ethos of not being restrained by the norm is visually embraced. It's a film about LEGO, what it means to us, and what we can bring out of it. The visuals serve to reflect that. How many mainstream animated films are there where the visual look means something? -9. For hilarious lark that's so joyful and bright, it deserves no less than inching into single digits.